Hello, Internet. Welcome back to another edition of Eric's Corner with the Word of the Not So Wise. It's about 5 degrees out with probably a 10 or 20 mile an hour gusting wind chill. I just went out and did a little plowing. Going to do another Doomsday prepper type episode and scenario. Something I didn't really get around to is economic collapse. I was watching the show Doomsday Preppers, and I'm going to tune back in and refresh my memory on some of the scenarios they went through and some of the things people did to prepare for it. But something I never really talked about was an economic collapse. You remember, you got to keep in mind, this is America. If we fall, the rest of the world goes with us. And bear in mind, we got nobody to call 911 to. We've got the worst political turmoil we've ever seen. I was just talking to a buddy of mine who kind of got me thinking about prepping and so forth. And we're just looking at the political turmoil, and all these factors are coming together. You know, we got a border crisis, we have hyperinflation, all kinds of just bad people that have been appointed to government positions just based on their demographic. Just some really weird people. There's the bald dude that got caught stealing women's luggage and all kinds of stuff like that. This stuff's coming to a head really bad, and they've talked about getting rid of making it illegal for paramilitary groups or militias, which is a constitutional right for a state to have a well-regulated militia. The federal government wants to take over the guard units, basically call them off from the border, and I'm not quite sure. It's somebody was saying, the worst part about election years are the pandemics, and they always seem to show up just in time for a new administration to take over. Now, Biden, everybody's, the left's Lord and Savior here. I mean, he rode shotgun for all of 8 years of Obama. I mean, it would make sense that if he was to carry over those policies that left this really great economy for Trump, why hasn't he brought us back to at least that? Everything's just slowly getting worse. And, people are just feeling less and less optimistic about it ever really getting better. So, I mean, I don't know what to do about it, what advice to give, other than just be supplied and be ready to eat rice and beans for a while. Go to the store. I'm not saying panic buy a bunch of stuff, but pick up a few things each time you go. An extra 10 or 15 bucks worth of stuff and a few trips to the grocery store, you could have a pretty decent supply. Me and my buddy discussed, bugging out versus bugging in. If you have to leave your place and if you have a family that needs to go with you, an initial evacuation may not be a great option, because like myself, I got a 2.5 and a little over 4-year-old. I can't pick them up and run with a crowd of people and manage to carry them and not fall over and get trampled. So hunkering down for the initial panic. I'm preaching, you got to get away from panicking people. Don't be a panicking person, or at least try not to be. Try to see it coming and go, hey, maybe we need to get away for the weekend or something. And I mean, worst case scenario, you run a drill and see how prepared you are and see if your escape routes are good. By having a escape route plan, I mean, I'm not really talking about, take a left on first and a right down this road. Just head in a general direction. I'm going to head towards those mountains, that mountaintop, or something. I mentioned, beaches and wide open areas like that. If you're planning to evacuate on a boat, I mean, I don't feel that's a real great option, except for those of you who have tons of money and have a pretty good sized boat that can be well provised. And you can actually enough fuel to where you can actually stay hunkered down out on the water for a little while. But out in the water is a very dangerous place to be. So, yeah, kind of start preparing. I'm not trying to scare anybody, or I'm not saying start panicking, but I look through history, and Not that I'm a major history buff. Most things I look at are, World War II, because it was such a key historical component in everything that you can start seeing for the future. They've taken away your right to bear arms as much as possible, trying to get rid of militias. Your freedom of speech has been under attack for a while. And I mean, even now, what I'm saying, people are going to say is, oh, hate speech and I'm fear mongering. Of course, is the accusation going to be made, but I'm not making this up. Okay. This is what I'm seeing on every major news network. So, media that does a very good job of making things up and lying to you. I mean, they kind of aren't even hiding it anymore. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, you got no place else to go. Nobody's going to come and rescue us. We gotta self-preservate and self-rescue. So be prepared. Get you some cold weather gear. It's winter. It's chilly almost everywhere, and a lot of people are going to have exposure issues for sure. I was going to do a episode about making a shelter. I was going to go in my backyard and give you the basics, but it's blowing 20 miles an hour. And quite frankly, I kind of don't really feel like doing it. I mean, my neighbor's going to get with me and film for me. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow when it's still cold, but not blowing. I mean, I got 3-foot snow drifts in my yard right now that I kind of knocked down the best I could. So, I mean, if it gets warm and those get heavy, I'm going to need a piece of heavy equipment to move it. But thankfully my dad has a skid steer that I can borrow and go get if I really need. So, anyway, that's all I got for right now. Stay warm and stay vigilant. I'm less and less optimistic about, not having a major collapse. I mean, I don't want to happen because that just puts people in hardship, and my fellow people and Americans. I mean, regardless of your political stand, I don't want people in that kind of hardship any worse than we already have it. My buddy and I discussed, the Cajun Navy, when there's a flood somewhere. I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of Obama and Biden flags and stickers on their bumpers, and you know what? And they go to help you. They just save you. It doesn't matter where you're from, your race. They say, hey, get in the boat. And, these are oftentimes not wealthy people. They're taking their own hoopty jet boat or fan boat and they're just going out and helping you, aren't they? I mean, that's how it should be, just as people. This is how all people should kind of react in a oh shit evacuation situation. But I mean, again, don't put yourself in too much harm's way to help other people. But, hopefully you do once you're in a position. Hey, now I can, I got my own evac plan in place. My family's safe. Okay, now I can go help other people. It's not the single 25-year-old me anymore who's a little bit more gung-ho. I have children to look out for. So anyway, like and share my videos. Thank you for joining me, and stay warm. Good luck.